Imagine you're trying to find the perfect avocado toast recipe, not just the tastiest, but the one that balances crispness, creaminess, spice, and texture. You can't assign a score to each version, but you can say, I prefer this one over that one. This is the heart of preference-based optimization, a powerful way to optimize unknown functions when direct measurement is impossible or impractical. But here's the catch, making each toast isn't free. It takes time, ingredients, energy. And every time you make a new version, you're paying a real cost. Most existing methods in preferential Bayesian optimization ignore this. They assume you can propose multiple new candidates at once, say, 5 different toasts, and compare them all in a single round. But in reality, each new toast requires a new production cycle. That's wasteful. Enter consecutive preferential Bayesian optimization, a new framework that accounts for the true cost of production, not just evaluation. Instead of freely proposing new candidates, CPBO restricts comparisons to only the most recently produced one. You compare your new toast only to the last one. Why? Because producing a candidate is expensive. Once it's made, you want to use it as many times as possible, but you can't store it forever. Avocados spoil. Extrudates cool down. In real-world settings like food science or materials engineering, candidates degrade over time. So in CPBO, the rule is simple. Only compare the new candidate to the previous one. This isn't just a constraint, it's a strategy. It reduces production costs dramatically, especially when making candidates is expensive. But there's another layer, human perception. When you compare two toasts, you might say, they're basically the same. But most PBO models treat this as an error, they force a choice. That's unrealistic. Humans can't always detect tiny differences. This is where just noticeable difference comes in. JND is a psychophysical principle, the smallest change in a stimulus that a person can reliably detect. In our model, we extend the classical Thurstone-Mosteller model to include an indifference region. Now instead of just better or worse, we have 3 outcomes: clearly preferred, clearly worse, or indistinguishable. We model this using a latent utility difference, the difference in perceived quality between the new and previous candidate, corrupted by perceptual noise. The user's response depends on whether this noisy difference crosses a threshold, the JND threshold. If the difference is large and positive, they prefer the new one. If it's small, they're indifferent. If it's large and negative, they prefer the old one. This threshold is learnable. It adapts during optimization. And crucially, when the threshold is greater than 0, the algorithm avoids proposing candidates that are too close in utility, because the information gain is near 0. It focuses on regions where differences are meaningful. Now, how do we select the next configuration? We use an information-theoretic acquisition function, specifically, an adaptation of max-value entropy search. The goal? Maximize the mutual information between the next preference feedback and the unknown maximum of the latent utility function. This measures how much uncertainty about the global optimum is reduced by the next comparison. But here's the twist. Since comparisons are consecutive, we must condition on the previous candidate. So the acquisition function is not over all possible pairs, it's over the next candidate given the last one. We compute the expected entropy of the next response, conditioned on the current posterior over the utility function, and maximize the gain. To make this computationally feasible, we discretize the input space, fit a Gumbel distribution to the quantiles of the Gaussian process posterior to approximate the maximum utility, and for each sample, compute a truncated GP posterior where the maximum utility is bounded. Then we estimate the conditional preference probabilities using Monte Carlo integration. This allows us to compute the information gain efficiently, even with 3-valued feedback. So what does CPBO actually achieve? We tested it across 7 standard benchmarks, Brannan, 6-hump, Levy 13, and others, with synthetic oracles that simulate human indifference at varying levels. First, when does CPBO matter? We compared 3 strategies. 1. Standard PBO, propose 2 new candidates per round, high production cost. 2. Consecutive PBO, 1 new candidate, compared to the last, low production cost. 3. Multiple comparisons, 1 new candidate, compared to 5 previous ones, high evaluation cost. Results: when production cost is negligible, standard PBO wins, no surprise. But when production and evaluation costs are comparable, consecutive comparisons dominate. And when production cost is high, using multiple comparisons gives a clear advantage. But the sweet spot? The middle ground where both costs matter. That's where CPBO shines. Now, what about indifference? We simulated oracles with true JND thresholds, leading to 10 to 30% of comparisons being labeled as indifferent. We compared CPBO with a trainable threshold, against CPBO with 0 threshold, and against state-of-the-art methods like EUBO and POPBO. The results were striking. When the true threshold was 0.04, CPBO with learned threshold achieved significantly lower inference regret and higher ordinal accuracy. Even when forced to ignore indifference, CPBO still outperformed EUBO and POPBO in exploration, because it's inherently more explorative, thanks to the entropy-based acquisition. And here's a counterintuitive insight. CPBO works better when the true threshold is greater than 0, even when the oracle is indifferent. Why? because the information gain peaks when the utility difference is approximately equal to the J&D threshold. So the algorithm naturally avoids proposing candidates too close to the current one, pruning irrelevant regions of the search space. It's like a smart explorer who only steps forward when the terrain changes meaningfully. Now let's move to the real world. In a case study, we applied CPBO to high-moisture extrusion processing, a key step in developing plant-based meat analogs. A twin-screw extruder processes a mixture of pea and hemp proteins. The output, the extrudate, depends on 3 parameters: temperature, water feed rate, and screw speed. But here's the challenge. Each run takes 5 to 10 minutes to produce a sample. The extrudate must be evaluated while still warm. Cooling ruins the texture, so only the latest sample can be reliably compared. This is a textbook CPBO scenario. Production cost is high, evaluation cost is high, and only the most recent candidate is available. We ran the experiment with 3 operators, 1 novice, 2 experienced, all following CPBO recommendations. They only gave preference feedback: better, worse, or same, no numerical scores. After 30 iterations, the model converged. All 3 operators were satisfied with the final result. Even after trying 1 to 4 manual iterations, none could find a better configuration. The learned J&D thresholds were consistent, between 0.02 and 0.05. This corresponds to about 2 to 4 indifference responses per operator, realistic for human perception. And the utility surfaces. They revealed multimodal landscapes. But the J&D threshold helped distinguish the true optimum from a nearby suboptimal mode, something a binary preference model would miss. This isn't just about better optimization. It's about realistic, practical, human-in-the-loop AI. We're not solving toy problems. We're helping scientists, engineers, and operators make better decisions with limited time, resources, and human bandwidth. So what's the takeaway? Production cost matters, and ignoring it leads to inefficient, wasteful optimization. Humans are not perfect. They can't always detect small differences. Modeling indifference with J&D improves robustness and accuracy. Consecutive comparisons are not a limitation. They're a design principle for real-world systems. CPBO is the first practical method that combines cost awareness, perceptual realism, and a scalable acquisition strategy. And it's not just for food. This framework applies wherever making a candidate is expensive. Running a chemical reaction, printing a 3D part, training a model. Where human feedback is required, the candidate degrades over time and perception is limited. From materials science to drug discovery, from robotics to audio design, CPBO opens the door to scalable, responsible, human-centered optimization. The future of Bayesian optimization isn't just about smarter algorithms. It's about smarter constraints, ones that reflect the real world. And that's how we build AI that doesn't just predict, but collaborates.